Okay, here I am. I'm happy to be here again. I think it's a bit more than a year that I have been with you um, the last time. In this year, I had some changing in my life, but nothing bad, only good changes. I
Good,
became
good.
a nonno, a grandfather. So,
Congrats.
yeah, that's wonderful, but I'm still here for you as a wood turner. And yeah, right. For today, I would like to talk about ring tools and hook tools, um, like this one, for example. And I don't know how uh, they are really known in the whole world, in the German, and that includes also the Swiss wood turning tradition. They have been used a lot until probably the 50s, 60s, and then they quite disappeared. And when I made my apprenticeship, I was told about them, and they told me, but yeah, they are not used um, now because they are much too dangerous. So we don't use them anymore. And um, you know, when someone tells me that something is too dangerous, so the day arrives that I think I
Hold
have
my
to
beer,
try that.
right?
Hold
Hold
my
my
beer.
beer.
Yeah, right. That's it. So one day I found a ring tool to buy, and I bought one, and I was very happy to approach a piece of wood with it. And I had a super huge catch, and this was a ring with a 10 millimeter thick bar, and the bar made a right angle, and I was so scared that for the next 10 years I put it in an angle. I straightened it between the bars of my bed of the lathe, and then I put it in an angle and I said, oh, okay, they were right, it's too dangerous. But 10 years after, I was too curious and I had to try it again. But in the meantime, I knew a guy who um was a little bit able to use it, and there was a guy in Germany reproducing the hook tools, not the ring tool, but the hook tools. And also in
Okay,
the
great.
meantime, there was Andre Martel uh, doing them. So
Mm.
there was some video, there was some idea, and I started to use them again. And immediately I was super happy with it. Once I knew how to approach the wood and which wood, because the first time I tried it in cross grain, so that was not a good idea. So finally I restarted, and I immediately was really happy with it. And so I'm happy um, to show you a little bit how to use them, because they are really worth.
Outstanding.
Um, Sorry?
Outstanding. Very good. Sehr gut.
Thanks. Um, so this is a little vase in end grain, and that's where the hook and ring tool are used in. Why not just a spindle gouge, for example? Because here, let me just, we have this grain direction. You can see that very well, I think. This is a piece of spruce. So nothing special, but so the grain, this is the grain direction. And if I would cut inside with my spindle gouge or ball gouge and go in this direction, what I do in cross grain, I would go against the grain, and I would have a lot of tear outs. I mean, I have tear outs in this piece because it's spruce. So also with the ring tool, it's not possible to work without tear outs, but that would be very bad. I could work in this direction, what is the right direction for end grain. So I could start in the middle and then work to the rim, but that means I'm scraping because I can't wrap the bevel working in this direction. And the great solution for that is, for example, the ring tool, because I can do that, but I can work from the center and going to the rim, and I'm always rubbing the bevel. So that's what I would like to show you today. I have prepared this is a huge piece of juniper. So not only I will create a little vase, and if there is time, with a lid, but also I will create very, very nice smelling shavings.
Yes.
And a very, very nice smell in my shop.
Yes.
So before Halloween, of course, we have to create the cylinder and creating a tenon to mount it on my jack. And then we can start to hollow. Let's go.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we'll see. I have been in Australia the last 3 weeks. I'm back only for 10 days now, and I made a demo also in Australia, in close to Perth, and I made the same thing.
Okay.
So that was
Yeah, your pictures look good that you posted. The pictures you
so,
posted online from your
yeah,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a good time there, and I'm always happy to do some demos also when I travel. And it's always not only a moment of wood turning, but also a moment when you are with the local people, and you're not just a tourist, but you have a possibility to talk with the local people. So it's always great fun. doing demos underway.
Matthias,
Um,
will you be able to adjust your camera down a little bit?
oh yeah, sorry. Right. I have I have I had some trouble with my cameras,
Oh,
so
there we go. Perfect.
I had some troubles with my cameras, and I have only two cameras instead of the normal three. So I have this camera, but I have it with two different, but it's the same camera with two different zooms,
Zoom.
and then I have a third camera from up,
Okay.
and yeah, right, like this. Um, but when I hollow, that will not be very helpful with this
No,
one.
no.
It's always a little bit difficult to show hollowings with the cameras. So just centering the piece and mount it. Okay, let's start with roughing this piece and giving a little nice shape of the outside, and then we can start with the hollowing, with the interesting part. So I use my um, German style roughing gouge, not because the German one is better than the English one, but because I'm used to use this one. I learned with this one. I come as a wood turner. I come from the German school, German wood turning tradition. So I use the flat one. I have also the English one, but I use it rarely. I have it more for my students to show the difference. But personally, I use the German one. Oh, the smelling already starts. Okay, and creating a tannin. Um, the tannin has to have 48 mils. So I start with 49 with the parting tool, and who already watched me in other demos before knows that I don't create my tenons like this, but I want cut tenons and not scrape tenons. So at the end, the last millimeter, I will cut with my spindle gouge. I'm one of these guy who is sure that a tenon has to be cut and not scraped. I have Okay, if there is some question in the meantime while I remount my chuck, I have time to answer.
At the moment, there isn't any in chat, but if somebody has a question they would ask, you can open your mic up and ask your question.
What size was the blank that you started with?
Oh, it is 15 centimeters of length and the diameter is 10. I got this blank from a friend a few years ago. He travels a lot in Portugal and Spain, and he brought me this blank from Portugal. My chuck is here.
So that gouge you were just using, you would call that a continental gouge then for us layman people?
Sorry?
Is that gouge you were just using, would you call that a continental gouge rather than a English roughing gouge?
Let me show again. I didn't understand perfectly the question.
Do you call the gouge the German gouge or a continental gouge, or do you call it something else?
Uh, um, I call it just a German gouge, or it's a roughing gouge. This one is it's a small one, but the new school they work with the small ones. When I made my apprenticeship, I think I have my original gouge here. So this is a 45 mil German roughing gouge, but for my students, I wouldn't recommend this one. So this is a 25 mil one, and could also be a big spindle gouge. It's also quite the same shape here. It's a little bit more aggressive than the English one, but the advantage of the English one is that you can rough, and then you can also with this part, with the wing, you can also create a super good final cut. So it makes a nicer cut, the English one, but this one is faster. So as I used to be a production turner. Fast is important, so I'm used to use this one. But now we go ahead with the the skew. Also, the skew for production turners is daily business because it is fast and it creates a super nice finish. You have to sand less, so I'm using this skew very often. I don't know if this piece allows me to use it, but we will try, because I see here there is a little bit the contour grain, and it could create tear out. So I will change tool, but let's try with this skew. In this direction, it works very well.
Nice clean cut.
Yeah, that's a super clean, nice cut, really. But cutting in this direction, I felt some, yeah, I see it also here, some tear out. So the grain direction is a bit against me, but for the moment, we'll go ahead like this. Okay. Now, the skew, I know a lot of people is a little bit afraid of the skew. The most important thing by the skew or for the skew is to start with approaching the wood with the bevel before cutting. So bevel without cutting, and then a slight movement like this with the handle, and then you feel the cut, and then you can go. If you start coming on the wood with the cutting part and not with the bevel first, the catch is already here. So
Make a spiral.
just anchor before cutting, and then slowly move. And when you start to use your skew, and just for practice, use small diameters like 50 mils or 40 mils or something like this. It's a perfect start for the skew with a small diameter. For example, the honey dippers, the handle of the honey dippers and the head of the honey dippers, you can, it's a good exercise for the skew. Okay, yeah, a little bit more. Okay. Straight cut in the head too. Also for this straight cut in the head, I changed camera for showing this. You have to wrap the bevel, but not the whole bevel. That's very risky because you could have a catch here on the in the middle of the skew. So the bevel that has to rub is only this little angle corner here, this little corner here, and here. I'll change camera again. If okay, probably you can see that better here. So now here you always have to have a little bit of space between. So the bevel. Oh, now you can see that very well. Okay.
Yeah, we can see it there.
Like this. So here you have to have a little gap, but this part of the bevel has to be in contact with the wood. So not closing here, but opening a little bit, and then you don't have any risk. Okay. So the next step, you can see that in my, here it is. I drilled a hole, so this is not finished, obviously. I drilled a hole in the middle for two reasons. One reason is that already gives me the depth, so I don't have to check the depth only every two cuts. I know when I arrive on the bottom of my hole that I created, I have the good depth. That's one reason. And the second reason is it's easier to start with the ring tool and the hook tool. After I will show you also the hook tool. No worries. It's easier to start with the ring and with the hook tool from a hole and not from a full body.
Solid piece, right?
Okay, so we will create a hole, the hole now, and for that I will swivel out a little bit my head and use the other camera. Okay. A bit more. Usually I do my holes, my center holes with the spindle gouge. That's the easiest and fastest. I already told you that I like fast things. I like it fast. So if you have to mount a drill on your lathe, and then you go ahead with your tailstock, and then you have to discharge the shavings, and then you go again, and that's boring. And with the spindle gouge, that is quite fast, but not every spindle gouge allows you to do that. There are spindle gouges where the body is larger than the cutter, so they close a little bit on the top, and that doesn't work because so the cutter cuts a hole that is smaller than the body of your gouge, and so that does not work. But a lot of spindle gouges have their cutter that finishes exactly on the diameter of your gouge, and with these it works very well. You have to set your tool rest exactly so that you have your cutter in the center of your piece. So like this, here we are, and then we have to check the depth, and then I mount a tape here, and so I know how deep I want to do my hole. I slow down a little bit my lathe because this will create a lot of heat on my tool. So if I go a bit slower, that heats up a little bit less, and then just go straight, pull. Oh, that's hard. Oh,
Not cooperating.
no, it isn't. Okay. No, it was my fault. I went in and I wasn't in the center. I touched on the rim, and so I moved slightly the piece on the jack. But now it's harder than I thought. So I okay.
There it goes.
Yes. Okay, that's it. Today, that's the only thing I do with the spindle gouge. No need for the spindle gouge again. And now we can start with the hollowing part. And before starting with hollowing, I would like to talk about the hook tool. So changing camera again. Tack. Okay. The hook tool, there are two hooks. This is the cranked hook, and this is the straight hook. The advantage of the hook tool, of the cranked hook especially, is that it's really the easiest hook or ring tool of all them. It's very easy to wrap the bevel. I will take again this piece. So it is already cranked, and so I can wrap the bevel and go in this direction without having to move very move a lot my handle. But the disadvantage is that I can't do the bottom, because when I go down on the bottom straight, you can see that I think it won't cut. For cutting, I have to rub the bevel, but that means that my handle goes in this direction and it touches the rim. While with the ring tool, so no, let me go to the straight hook. The straight hook is the hook for the bottom, but I can't do the rim or the wall because when I rub the bevel, I would touch the rim here, and I would remove the bevel from the wood. So I have one tool for the bottom, and then I have to change the tip and creating the wall. And if I have to retouch the bottom, I have to change again and redo the bottom, and then change again for doing the wall. While with the ring tool, I have two parts. I have the straight, no, won't stay here. I have a straight part, and then I have a second bevel here. So with the straight part, I create the bottom, and then I turn around my tool and I go ahead with the second bevel, and I can do everything with one tool. But it's a little bit harder as a tool. So I will start with the hooks to show them, and then in a second moment I will work with the ring. Questions?
Everybody's mesmerized, waiting with excitement.
Okay, so let's start with the cranked hook. I already have a hole, and probably you see that now better from here.
Yeah.
I am a little bit too high because here I have a 16 millimeter bar, so that brings me a little bit away from the center. So now, okay, that's perfect. It's a good thing working slightly hanging. You can't see that now on the video, but the bar like this would be perfectly horizontal, and it is slightly hanging, and then I can work with this bevel in contact with the wood, and I can work from the center to the rim with bevel contact, and so I should have any tear outs. I can speed up a little bit and then just with this camera, I think I can show you the cut. This is a very nice smooth cut. Any tear outs, anything. And this is the cranked hook. And now I will change this to show you also the straight hook. So yeah, right, what I told you, you always have, or you have two handles, and I thought to have two handles, but I didn't find it when I prepared, so I have to change them every time. And now the straight hook, other camera. Okay, the straight hook has the bevel contact on the bottom, and then you can go straight or slightly up, but then for when you would like to go more up, you risk. Now, this is not deep, so you can do everything with this one, with a long movement with your handle, you can do everything. But when you go deeper and you go like this, you would touch the rim here, and you would move the away from the wood. So yeah. So now I could also work like this, right? But now I am, for this I can also use the spindle gouge. I'm just scraping with my hook, but the hook gives me the possibility to not scrape but cut, and to get a clean cut. So this is for the bottom. I can go down now more and more, cutting just the bottom. And you can also see what I do. I have my, let me just turn a little bit my camera. The handle is on my body, and I only move my body. I don't move the handle. That gives me much more stability and also a smoother movement. And so when I create the curve, for example, it is smooth and not interrupted curve. And now I'll go ahead and probably I'll do the rest with the ring tool, just to compare, to show the difference between. And I will try, probably I'll try to direct this camera a little bit differently. So it's a little bit strange to see now, but at least you can see better on the inside.
So Matthias,
Yeah.
we have a question on
Okay.
would we use the hook and ring tool primarily on softer woods, or could it be used on hard, regular hard deciduous woods?
You can use them perfectly also in hardwoods. What is not working is in burls, in woods with strain grain direction, in wood with branches inside. So you can use the hook and ring tool perfectly in all woods with a regular grain.
Okay.
It doesn't depend on how hard it is, but really on the regularity of the grain. So now I can wrap the bevel of my hook. I just have to remove my tailstock. I can do the bottom with the flat part. And then I can turn my tool and do the wall. And so this is a shaving coming from the inside, and there is no possibility with a a spindle gouge, for example, to create these kind of shavings in end grain. And it's also quite fast.
Yeah, it's very quick. Zu schnell.
Too schnell, no. Let me see if this helps you to see better. Yeah, probably it does. I have to find a camera position that doesn't disturb me and helps you to see well. Okay, that's not bad, huh?
Yeah, that's good.
You see, I create how is it called here?
Side by side motion.
Yeah, without moving on the
Tool rest.
on the tool rest, but only just creating
Pivot point.
a pivot point. Yeah, thank you. And then that. I mean, there are also the hollowing tools like this. This is the woodcut hollowing tool. That works obviously very well also, but it never gives a clean cut like the hook. I will show that a little bit later again on this model here and tell you why. And then the wall. And then that. There is still some 1.5 centimeter to go in the depth. You can see that here. I can't leave the camera like this because I can't work like this. But you
We
can
can
see.
still see. It's still good.
Okay.
All's klar.
Then I'm a little bit low. I like to work a little bit more hanging. Okay. Now, obviously, we have an overhang of about 15 centimeters, so we have some vibrations. I could go a little bit closer with my tool rest for the bottom, but then I have to move it again for the wall. I stay like this. I think if I cut a little bit less material, I'm fine also with this overhang here. Up. That's when you lose your bevel. That was just losing my bevel, and then you tend to cut too much material because you don't have anything that stops grabbing inside the wood, and so if you lose the bevel, it grabs. Again, I have to change the camera so I can move well. Okay. I don't want the rim too thin because I want to create also a lid, and the lid I would like to put it inside. So you still see a little bit of the rim after. So I think that is good as for the wall thickness, and then I will create a little
Recess.
a little recess for the lid. Okay, now I think I just have to do 2 or 3 last cuts to clean up a little bit here on the rim, and I have a wave here on close to the bottom and one about in this zone here. This wave here. Still a little bit. Okay. And then So I think that should be great. Oh, still a little wave here in this zone and a little one here. Okay. And the recess on the rim, I will do that with it's just a small recess with skew, just like this. And then we go back to our model piece here, and I will show you just again the movement inside and the difference between the woodcut or other similar tips and the ring and hook tool. Okay, that's it. Okay, I will mount my other piece on the jack so I can show you well the difference. So it was an error to swivel back. Okay. Let's have a look again at the movement of my tool. So I'll try the other camera again for this. Okay. When I start on the bottom, you can see the cutter is not cutting, only here it starts to cut. So I use the straight part of the ring for the bottom, like this. And then I can turn around and then I can start here and I can cut the whole way up to the rim without having problems of touching on this side in the rim. And now for changing the tip and going to the hooks, I can do the bottom with the hook, but when I go up, I will touch in the rim here and I will lose my bevel contact and I am only scraping on the wall and the wall won't be so smooth and clean. So for the wall, I have to change the tip again using the cranked hook, and I can't cut on the bottom because I will touch with this corner here on the bottom and I won't cut here, but already now it is cutting and I can work up to the rim. That's the difference between the two tools. And when we try now the woodcut tip, or that could also be another similar tool with a limiting part on. That's great for really hollows, closed hollows, but for open hollows, the that works well, and we can also work with the bevel the whole way, but we have a cutting angle that is different. Now, let's talk about the cutting angle for a moment. When I work with this tool here, I come down to the cutter by 90 degrees. But when I work with a ring, the ring is like this, so the cutting angle is 45 degrees. It is not flat and 90 degrees, but it is turned on 45 degrees, and I have a cutting angle that is much better than the woodcut tool, for example. And the same is with the cranked hook, because he is cranked, so I automatically have 45 degrees and not 90 degrees. I would have 90 degrees with the straight hook, and that would not create a nice finish, and it would be also a little bit dangerous because the catch is behind the corner. And so the cranked hook gives me 45 degrees of cutting angle and no risk